Hello and welcome to part 1 of Let's Play Dwarf Foress. And for any of you who this is your first video of mine you're watching, I'll just explain quickly here. I'm still learning this game myself. I'll explain this while I'm creating the world, because this is going to be my experience of Dwarf Fortress. And because I am still new to this game, I've only been playing it maybe a week, if that. I'm going to be turning the natural savagery and the number of beasts down to low, and I will just leave the rest as it is while we generate our world here. And for all of you who are about to start raging in the comments telling me to get sound sense, there's an issue with copyright with that, so I won't be getting sound sense. Instead I've just downloaded some ambient music here. Just have a look around. And I like the look of this world, so we'll be keeping this world and use it as it is. And now we've got the start out of the way, I'll explain a little bit about Dwarf Fortress for those of you who haven't seen it. It is a roguelike game, and as the name suggests, okay, I'm not sure what's going on there. You build a fort using the dwarves. You start off with 7. But before we get too involved in that, we need to pick our embark location, which is where you will start off and where your fort will exist until it inevitably implodes upon itself through some disastrous fault of my own. And what I'm looking for here is a place with plenty of trees, but where it's in a mountain range as well, so that I can just dig straight into the mountains in order to make building my fort easier. I also want shallow metals without an aquifer if I can. So I really don't want the aquifer at all. Wrong button there, sorry. Normally play this on my keyboard and I've just downloaded it for the laptop. Trees are sparse there. What if I well, I don't think we'll be using that place. It looked promising, but I do want trees. And quickly explain about the maps for those of you who don't know what's going on here. The map on the right side is my world map. The one in the center is the location map. And the one on the left is the close-up view of where your fortress will be. Aha. Now this I like the look of. Just near a mountain range, so it's quite possible that we will be having some elevation here. There's also a river without an aquifer, and what an aquifer is it's an underground river, and it can just make it really annoying to get stone and such. Whereas the above ground river, we can fish and get ourselves food from there. And it also has some deep metals, so I will be able to forge my own weapons and armor eventually, as well as being heavily forested, so, and it's in a temperate climate zone. So I think we'll be using this area for our fort, and I will be preparing carefully for the journey. Now these are the 7 dwarfs that I will be starting off with, and I want to increase the stats on some of these. I'll be having 2 miners. I will also be wanting just 1 woodcutter. I'm not putting too much into the skills these guys have, because the skills upgrade themselves as they do their jobs. I want a carpenter as well as a mason. And this guy is going to be my building designer, but because that's a skill that doesn't get used that often, it's only used when you're designing a building. Apart from that, it's not used. This guy will also be my crafts dwarf, and I will give him 1 point in every kind of crafting. And this guy at the bottom will be my grower, so that I can farm my own stuff. And he will, if I can find the skill for it. Also, he will be my brewer. And I was going to say butcher, but I think we'll hold off on that for now. So now that I have my dwarf's skills set out, I will name a couple of them just off the top of my head here, if I can do this. The first one will be called Revocane, because it was his Dwarf Fortress 101 that taught me how to play this game. And because of that, this Let's Play will also be dedicated to him. And I will be putting a link to his channel, to his Dwarf Fortress 101 series, in the description. And next up, what am I doing next? Next we will be having Voodoo Attack. Next up is Zane. I'm not particularly paying attention to what job each dwarf gets here. If you don't get a dwarf here and you want one, leave a comment on this video and I will make a list of all the dwarf names, but it will just be from this video if you want a dwarf, because I don't want to be jumping between 7 different videos and then people complaining at me that I missed them. So I will only be taking dwarf names from this video. And this guy here will be the Firm X Wolf, another one of my early subscribers. Let's see who have we got next. We will have Buster will be next. And I actually can't think of any. I thought of one more now. I do want to get all of these named. In future I will name these off screen, but this is just so my first 7 know who they are. After that they'll be named off screen and I'll just show the list and you can pause it if you want to know if you're on there. And I need one more dwarf name here. And this guy isn't actually in my, well, he is in my sub box, but under a different name. But I know him from streams and like Dwarf Fortress streams and that kind of thing. So we'll be getting that name. The name I know him by is YPie. Now that that's done, we'll quickly switch over by pressing tab to the items list. One thing I do want to do once I find them, they're right down the bottom of the list if I remember rightly. Oh. Yeah, there it is get myself some turkeys. I'll get 2 gobblers and 2 hens. And the other thing I want, if I can find it, there it is, plump helmet spawn. I want at least 50 of these so I can have a big farm going. And if you're wondering how I can just grab all this stuff, it's if you look on the bottom right of the screen, you'll see I've got points there that I can spend between attributes and stuff to bring with me. I'll be bringing some extra beer because it normally takes me a while to get a still up and running. And the rest of these points I'll just be spending on random food. And of course a few extra seeds. Have some extra rum. Because in the words of Jack Sparrow, why is the rum always gone? Prepared reindeer lung. Now doesn't that just make you hungry? Quickly save this profile here. It's just profile 1. And away we go. Now it's just actually generating the location in the background now. Leave that up for a second for all of you who want to read it. Just pause the video now. And it's time to strike the earth. And then when you first start up you'll have this view, and if you don't want the mini-map on the side there, you can just press the tab key and it will alternate the things. I do like to leave the that looks good. I do like to leave my key bindings up there. Got the game paused now. You do that by pressing the space bar, and the first thing I'm going to do is designate out an entrance to be mined into this mountain and chop down some trees. Press D to go into the designation menu, but I won't be going too in depth in controls and such because, like I said, this is my experience of Dwarf Foress. It's not a tutorial. I'll be linking a tutorial into the description. And the last thing I want to do is designate this caravan that we came with to be removed. Designation. N. There we go. Maybe not. I need to press G and it's listed under buildings and then X to remove that. So now as soon as I unpause it here, my dwarves will get busy on the jobs I've assigned them. I forgot how quickly things get mined out when you have 2 miners, because in my last game I only had 1. Because like I mentioned, I've been playing this on my laptop for about a week. That's going to be the main entrance hall there. Going to have my trade depot and a few workshops in at the beginning. And for some reason I'm just going to pause my recording here because I did have some ambient music supposed to be playing, but for some reason it stopped, I think. And there we go, I think that's the music back. Move my mouse out of the way here. Sorry for having my desktop bars and such on here. I couldn't find a way to record with just a certain section of the screen with fraps. I'm still new to just about everything to do with computers. And what surprised me a little bit here, because I've never seen this, is this red soil inside the cavern we've just dug out is perfect for farmland. But obviously I'm not done with my miners yet. You never really want your people to have nothing to do. That never ends well. So what I am going to do is have them straight away dig out some farmland so our grower can get started on crop production. We'll just dig that out to there, that'll do. And then we'll start putting down our workshops and stockpiles in here. do know some of these commands, just kind of knowing them by now. But I am, like I said, I am still learning the game, so I will be leaving the key bindings up there. And for any of you wondering what graphics pack this is, it is the Iron Hand pack. Another interesting thing is this game isn't all on one level. It's got what's called Z levels, where you can go up and down levels by pressing shift and the greater than, less than keys. So you can see now there's I've just ordered some stairs to be constructed there because I'm going to be building my bedrooms down a floor. And as you can see now that we know what's there, you can see those tiles emerging. But I will have to build another set of up-down stairs here. Why isn't that working? There we go. Must just have a bit of a iffy enter key on this keyboard here. Because obviously if I built the stairs that went down but without connecting upstairs, my people would just be stuck here. So now I'm going to just dig out a little dormitory here. It's not going to be anything too fancy, but I don't particularly want just square rooms all over my fortress. It gets boring to look at. And for now, once that's done, that will be where my dwarves will be eating and sleeping. And, gonna get a farm plot going up in this corner here. Just 2 strips for now. And I will need to wait for that to be constructed. The land has to be kind of tilled so it can be farmed. Now I'm going to add some new tasks to my workshop. You press Q and then move the yellow X over the workshop and you'll bring up the menu. And then it's A then B for beds. So I'm just going to order 10 wooden beds to be constructed. And there goes the farmer tilling off the land so that we can grow stuff. Once again, you just press Q to bring up its orders. And the farm actually has 4 seasons, but I will just be growing plump helmets all 4 seasons because they are the dwarf wonder food. You can cook them, eat them raw, brew them up into alcohol. And each time you do that you get a new plump spawn, which lets you replant the plump helmet itself. I find that quite useful anyway, because it is kind of an infinite supply of food, as long as you have enough farmers to maintain the fields. See this guy, because the more skill he has, the quicker he would have planted that plump helmet there. But you can see that solid block is meant to represent like a row of hay or whatever it is. And when it's ready for harvesting, it will change into a new little tile. apparently that's all my beds constructed already. I wasn't expecting them to be done that fast. To place them, you just press B for building and then B again for bed. I'll just be lining these across the top of this room. No, he's only built 3. But at least we have some beds now, so that my dwarves have a nice place to sleep. I will eventually be moving all of these stockpiles and workshops down some further into the mountain, but for now obviously we can't go any further into the mountain. But what I do want to do is start designating out just a couple of sets of stairs, as well as a specific dining room on this floor, because once I am done expanding... Oh, that was stairs I just ordered to be built there, not a mine. But once I am done expanding downways, and once I've got everything sorted and have my military in order, this will become the kind of military floor. These buildings will be just turned into like a barracks and a mess hall for my military dwarves to eat and sleep in and such when they are training. Once again, nothing too fancy, but I hate just plain square buildings when they're all over your fortress, especially in big rooms like this. I know it doesn't particularly match up either, but I'm not OCD about the size of my rooms on this game as long as they're big enough to fit things in. And apparently I've struck shell opal, which means yes, we found stone. That's really good. I was getting a bit worried there, thinking the entire mountain that I just dug into was just clay. But stone's useful for making things like tables and chairs and such, just like the wood is. So if you're ever short on one, you can just use the other. Although obviously I don't think you can build a stone bed, but you might be able to. That'll do for now. And I think he's actually done crafting all those beds now. Yes, he is. So what I'm going to do is order 3 tables and some chairs. I normally build these out of stone, but we have the wood available and I don't particularly want all my dwarves just sitting around doing nothing. Now I'll be building my workshops, will be in this room here, because I like to keep all this kind of stuff on one floor. So this will probably actually be my merchandise floor and not my military floor. Just built my masons, I believe. What did I just build there? I forgot already. That's probably not a good thing. You just press K to look around here and it'll tell you I've built a craft dwarf's workshop animation. I can't talk today, which means I still need a carpenter's workshop down here. will deconstruct the one that's upstairs. I will have various stockpiles linked up on this floor as well. And as always, I appreciate any feedback you have. Any comments are always welcome. I'll just be putting these tables down on the bottom end of this room here. Now I'll be making this the dining room for now, until I can build out a proper dining room for them. And I can press H to make this my meeting hall, meaning that all my idle dwarves will now gather there instead of out by the wreckage of the caravan. I'm just going to construct a few offshoots here for my stockpiles. I don't particularly mind these just being square. Obviously, the closer these are to the relevant workshops, the better. But as long as they're all, if you can fit them all on the screen in the same time, then it's probably close enough. I'll just be having 4 little stockpile rooms built here. And like I said before, I'm not picky about the size. I think this one here is going to be my wood stockpile now, so I can straight away get rid of the ones upstairs. And let me know what you think of the music I'm playing, please, because I just found this online and downloaded it. It's just some free music with no copyright laws on, so I can't have my videos torn down for using it. And I think we will be having a stone stockpile here. Now that we have that done, I'll be cancelling the designation for this stockpile and having the building torn down. Why didn't that work? Okay, I must be doing that wrong. Maybe I can change settings. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Okay, then if anyone knows how to do that, they're gonna have to let me know. Designation construction is N. Maybe this counts as a construction. Nope. Well, I don't know how I can remove that wood stockpile now, so it's going to stay there for a while at least. And speaking of wood, I'm going to designate some more of these trees to be chopped down. Just take a whole bunch of them. And there's the symbol you see when something's ready to be harvested, and anyone can harvest that stuff. And I think that is the symbol for a seed, maybe, because he's just ran off with the actual plant. Now then, I want this room here, this really big one, is going to be used half and half between furniture and food. And that should be keeping all of my dwarves pretty busy. And I know you missed out on the thought of the day earlier, so I think I'll just plug it in now. You ever wondered who the first guy to play the flute was? Because I mean, who sees like an empty stick on the ground, like a hollowed out stick, and goes, I know, I'm gonna wrap my mouth around that? It just doesn't seem very logical to me. But I've never been a man for logic as it stands anyway. And there you see the turkeys and yaks that I brought with me. At least I believe they're yaks, I think they were what were pulling the caravan that we arrived on. And you'll find at the start, it's not hard to find things for your dwarves to do. Now they have their own little dining room and meeting area, and everything's looking pretty fine and dandy. Just waiting for this last stockpile room to be finished off here. There we go. And this one will be for finished goods, which we use in trading. Because there are other civilizations on this game, for those of you who didn't know. And that's where they will be going. And I think this is as good a time as any to end off this episode. We got ourselves nice and safe. And we got our stockpiles and industries up and running. We have a farm plot. And apparently YPi can't plant any seeds because we don't have any more plum helmet spawns. They must all be in the barrels, I suppose. But one more thing before we go that I do want to do is build a still, and this is just another way to get some of those seeds back, because I can have that brew drinks. But yeah, this is as good a time as any to leave off. Let me know what you think of the new Let's Play. Let me know what you think of the music, just everything in general. and I will see you next time.